This is going to be fun to sand. I think my squeegees have finally had it. Metal one's torn up, it's leaving lines in it. So is the plastic one. But there's filler on the panel where it needs to be. I don't think the top of the door is going to be any issue at all. There's a little minute problems, but not like the rest of this that's been really worked and really needs to be gone over. So I left that blank. Put it on here, and then I'm going to knock all this down. Find all the trouble spots. Kind of lay in the top of the door and the trouble spots at the same time. Let's just get to it, because there's a ton of block sanding. I told myself I might as well do the door at the same time. I probably should have done the door separate, because now it's going to become extremely tedious, or extremely lengthy. Make that 2. As you can tell, I knocked out basically the whole top section. Quarter, I need to, I guess, bump down some high spots and keep sanding. And I'm telling you, man, it's 9 o'clock at night and it is so muggy. This stuff just sticks to you as you're sweating. But it's getting there, it's getting real good. This part of the quarter, it has its shape, but I still got to knock it down some. The filler's still a little bit high in some spots where I don't think it needs to be. And there's part of this low spot here that I think will come out, maybe. Plus I need to, I think I created a small little bubble as I'm sanding. So I need to kind of get that out, I guess you could say. What I do is, like, I'll open the door and I'll look down it. And it looks like it's dipped in slightly, but then comes out and then goes out high. So I need to get the high out of it, and the high could be the filler that's still on there that I'm still sanding off. I spent like an hour sanding on this stupid thing. It's just tedious work. It's just slowly kind of going through and real slowly doing it. Maybe someday, if I ever do this again, I'll tell you, I'm gonna buy one of those electric ones where it just moves the paper back and forth, just so I can just kind of easily move it and it'll do a lot of the work for me. But over the next few days I'll probably knock all this out, but it's getting busy. We've got the Unwanted show this weekend in Rogers, Arkansas. It's like downtown Rogers, Arkansas. The one last year was huge. The year before that was pretty darn big. I don't know what's going on this year, but of course with NWA sponsoring the FRS, I'll be down there. So I got to finish the car. There's wiring on it, and there's some weird funky wiring that we're trying to do in the car, and I'm not quite sure how to do it, but they do, so they're gonna help me knock it out. But that's interesting. There we go. That's better. Second layer of filler went down perfect. Or pretty well perfect. I don't even know what I was thinking. I took the metal spreader, took my sander and went whop, whopped it down. And obviously, and then I took this. It's just, I don't know, it's like some kind of nylon tips. It's good for taking off paint, filler, stuff like that. And took that across the mixing board so I wouldn't pick up any particles. Because I do clean it and I keep it decently clean, but just to make sure, cleaned it with that. And now it's laying down good. It's so hot. The filler keeps setting up too fast. And I don't know what I was thinking. I'm barely putting any of the hardener in it, but the filler sets up like that. So there's still spots that I've missed, but I did get some of the trouble spots. It's no big deal. I know I'm going to have to add more because you got to think, you add, say 100%, 95% ends up on the floor. Now, you can see there's still quite a bit of filler on the panel. That is because this is just a high impact panel. And what I mean by that is the rear was smashed and the, I guess, front of the quarter panel was dented all to hell too. So, let me get the camera down and explain kind of what the dents are doing. So this was impacted, right? Which means that this dent that was created here and the dent that was created here, the dent there didn't really affect the panel all that much, but the one here did. So it gets an impact. Now, just because it has a little dent here, doesn't mean that's where the only part of the dent is. It causes a ripple effect into the panel. Same goes back here. When this gets caved in, it's going to ripple the whole entire section right here. Then me welding on top of it. But like all this back here is all wrinkled, all this is wrinkled. But you can see, here's the body line. And there's body line here, or body, here, all up in here, where you can see where it's all being sanded off. And I'm touching the edge of the panel, but there's still filler there because it is slightly low. Or this is slightly high. Either way, it's still shaping out. I don't think this is high because if you run your hand down it, it feels perfect. Minus this little spot here and this section here, but that's because of welding. This should come out, most of this should come out as I go through. I just knew this was a little low, so instead of trying to shape all this in, as I shape this in and knock down the filler and find the body again, I'll start knocking it all down in these areas here too. You can see where I'm knocking it down here, and it's probably going to knock down across this whole section at the same time as I'm kind of going through. But I'm going to keep at it. Just as expected, this panel would have a lot more filler on it than I want. But everything is pretty much, there's like a little pinhole there and some marks that like this isn't perfect, but it's underneath, no big deal. Plus I'm not going to pack a whole bunch of filler in there. There's no point, and rocks. It's fairly thin in most areas. There's a little spot right here, it's a tidbit thicker and I really want it. But again, it's all within the, I guess, means of the product. Other than that, I really don't see any major problems. There's a little bit of wonkiness here and there, but I don't want to keep working at it this is what, like coat 6, and you can see all the different colors and everything else where they're just little patches. A little bit of here, sand 90% of it off, go oops, didn't put enough, put a little bit more. It's just slowly building it. It's inefficient as hell because 95% of it ends up on the floor, and I keep saying that because it's true. I mean, you should see the floor. I've got a pile underneath the car, or I'm just sweeping underneath the car until I'm done with this, and then I'll take it all out and throw it away. But it's fairly close enough that I'm gonna put some filler primer on it. Back here. Where the hell am I at? So I'm a jackass. Why the hell did I finish work this panel? Why? Seriously, you're going, oh, so you can move on to the door, so you can do the over fender. Yeah. But this whole back section, why did I do any of it? Because right there, it's getting a side marker. You know, it'll be a custom side marker that we're building basically a pair of and won't build anymore. It'll match where the front's going to be, which, because I don't know where the front's going to be, I haven't built it yet. Plus, I have to order the plastic for it. Now, it's not plexiglass, it's not Lexan, it's not any of those. This plastic, it's like its natural state, it's white. So, but it diffuses light like no other plastic does. It's a little on the pricey side, but it's amazing. Like, it is stupidly amazing how it diffuses light. So the side markers on the front and the rear, well, the front will actually be turn signal. I don't know if we're going to turn the rear into a turn signal. We may, but either way, it doesn't matter. But you don't get hot spots in it, which is what we don't want. And it's going to be freaking amazing. It looks, I've seen it done at a car wash. The car wash had these panels on the side, and the lights were being lit up, and it was evenly lit. But it was being evenly lit by these little light pucks that were like a foot apart. And it was perfectly evenly lit. And they weren't stuck way back, nothing. I mean, it's amazing. You all see it when I get it in. I haven't even ordered it yet. I keep forgetting what it's called to look it up to find a good place to get it, because we don't need a whole lot of it. We may probably end up doing the full tail lights. What you're talking about, the reverse lights are going to be moved. I do not want the reverse lights in the tail light. So basically, we'll cut out these sections here and mold the pieces to fit this here and this here. Because I think it'll be awesome. It'll be very modern looking, very different looking. So it'll be, most likely, we'll probably do amber and red. just to give it a little breakup. I like that look where it has the amber in it. I don't know why. I just really do. Like, I like amber in the front. I don't like the white like on the FRS. It's actually kind of, the switchbacks, I don't like them. I'm going to go ahead and go with an amber LED when I replace those. Just because I really don't like the way it looks. I like the breakup of the different, slightly different coloring. Like when people do black taillights on like a black vehicle, I don't like that. It's too much. There's no breakup there. And I think the all red might be too much. We may just do one piece that's all red and then build a divider in the back of it, but you can't really divide it because the light will diffuse. We don't know. But we will be using this shape of taillight. I'm not changing the shape of the taillight. I don't mind these. These are all right. And I'm not doing the circles. I'm not doing any of that. It will have this shape and be 2-piece here or one solid piece. We're still throwing around ideas. I do need to get a different set of taillights though to build those. We'll test fit everything in these but they're cracked and they're just worn out. And then I'll buy a new set, probably like one of those LED sets or whatever, just to get a good frame. Or I'll salvage yard somewhere or something to find the good frame. The frames on these are just trash. But it'll at least tell me how to get them apart, which in theory I think they literally just unscrew because they're screws and tabs that look like it hold the lenses in. I can get the lenses out without having to bake them or anything, or cut the living crap out of them. Again, I'm happy that this is minus getting ahead of myself again, but it looks really good. So I'm gonna let this sit, cure real good, and because it's a little wet right there. And I'm gonna come back out probably tomorrow and block sand the front half of it, at least get it down to 80. Probably block sand this just because it's there. Yeah, because that needs to be done, and then we can get into the over fender.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.